fiction. It's a vital part of human nature. We need that escape that comes from a world apart of our own. The storyteller has always held a place of respect and honour ever since man first sat around a campfire. There has always been a warm seat to drink and something to eat for any good teller of stories wherever people are gathered. And as an extension of that is the reason I do this. The story, the telling of a tale. It doesn't matter to me the media format, the production value, and certainly not the fame of the actors. All that I care about is the story I'm telling. Now, all I want to do is to make people sit up and, even if it's for only a short time, pay attention.
And pay attention we did. When the world woke on the 6th of February 2010, the news of the deaths of a film crew in the woods on Brenton Hill rocked the small community of this sleepy seaside town. Even more horror would come to pass as the police investigation unravelled footage of the events that occurred on the fateful night taken by the victims themselves. Who were these people that had come up here to the woodlands? Before that fateful night, very few people had ever heard of David Strickland, Lindsay Norton, Thomas Lucas, or Robin Wheeler. And the town of Brenton was almost unknown to the world at large, despite its long history.
Apart from the Iron Age fort, the history of the area dates back to about 50 AD, when a Roman merchant came into the area to take advantage of the trade routes from Wales. At the time it was known by the ancient name of Barrow Tor. There is a reference to the village in the Domesday Book. Then it falls off the map until the late Georgian period, when the interest in seaside pleasure activities became popular. It was at this time that the Old Saxon translation of the name Barrow Tor was changed. There was a feeling that it was too grim a name for a place that was fast becoming a pleasure town. The town continued then to develop in leaps and bounds around the railway and train yards, which for 200 years made the town famous. The decline of the area came when the railway works and services began to be reduced and eventually all but cease in 1970.
So, who were these filmmakers? A small group of cast and crew who set out to make a feature film for Eclipse Studio. Let us start with a creative mind that led them to this forsaken copse. David Strickland. At the turn of the millennium, Strickland, a fanatical film lover, began making short films for the internet, cultivating an ever-growing following.
Strickland was a classic example of the withdrawn, self-taught, egotistical filmmaker that was coming out of the turn of the 21st century. A breed of creators that the internet gave birth to, and it was that wave of new movie makers that flagging studios like Eclipse wanted to tap into.
I've always sought the highest inspiration, like an archer who aims his bow high into the air, not to reach that great height, but so that he can cross the great distance to his target. I've always aimed to emulate the greatest. Frederick Murnau, Fritz Lam, Mamoru Oshii, Yuval Ball, James Cameron. These are men that I have admired for years, and I take my cue from all those things that their films have taught me.
Eclipse Studios had been going down the pan for a few years. Even the made-for-TV movies that had kept the studio afloat for the years just before what happens. Strickland got in on the promise that he could have free rein over any project he wanted to work on, and of course there was only one thing on his mind.
I knew as soon as Eclipse asked me there was only one thing I could do. I wanted to make The Forsaken. Alice Newark's little-known vampire novel has been one of my favourite books since I was a teenager, and I knew not only could I do justice to the book, but I could truly bring it to life. Okay, so why don't you just give me your take on what you understand about the character?
Well, she's a small-town reporter, and she kind of gets in over her head a bit. She's trying to help out this priest who comes to her about this story that people are disappearing, and she thinks this could make a great story. So things don't quite go with the plan. I don't want to give too much away, but I believe it's based on a true story, but there's some mystery about how much is true and what really went on, so I'm really looking forward to this. This is a really good project for me.
Lindsay Norton was a drama school failure, one of the many who learned to act and never got a break. She had done a few television adverts during her final year, but until a friend of a friend who worked at Eclipse got her screen test for The Forsaken. She was just a shop assistant with artistic education.
I know that there were some murders or something, and I know that this novel is loosely based on them. But this creature that hunted the town is like an old-time Nosferatu vampire.
So, you're not going to be taking any of the big acting examples?
No, not Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee, and certainly not Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. Going to go for a real personification of malevolence.
Yeah, it's been feeding off the people from the local church, and it's probably hundreds, maybe thousands of years old. And it's been watching us humans inhabit the earth and destroying its habitat and where they used to live and hide.
Tom Lucas was a minor celebrity at the time. Having done quite a lot of child roles for television, he was desperate to now be taken seriously as an actor and was jumping at everything and anything he could get in the film world.
Well, he's been in and out of school with all the TV and theatre stuff for the last 2 years or so. We made a bunch of short films for YouTube, and he was so excited about taking the lead role in some big movie or something.
Action!
How did I let you talk me into this?
It's my idea that he played Paulson. Good, isn't it? Yeah, I was researching through the library market films for the original, Vicar bloke, and amazing, he looked just like him.
Robin Wheeler was a staff producer at Eclipse Studio who had overseen a string of low-budget TV movies. He was a huge film fan and could really see something big in what Strickland had created.
It was this combination of flagging media empire and obsessive new talent that would create the circumstances from which disaster would ultimately result.
You sure this is it?
Yeah, well, see that over there? Back in the 17th century, that used to be a cottage. I think it's like a witch's cottage or something like that, And I think all the local people were frightened of her for some reason. Yeah, it's probably a load of rubbish, but when they used to slaughter a nice pig or a cow or something like that, a nice good fat good thing, they'd always leave her a bit of the meat, probably the best bit, because otherwise they'd be frightened that she would turn the rest of the meat all bad and that,
Yeah.
Bitch.
St Angus Church sits on the edge of the dune bank, on the far side sloping gently down to the beach. On this side, hedged by sea sedge and buckthorn, lopsided headstones sprout from ground all the way from the edge of the dark, forbidding woods to the narrow main road like marble and granite daisies. The church itself had stood on that spot since the 13th century, slowly growing until it reached its current magnificence at the turn of the 1800s, with the completion of the bell tower. The shadow that now hangs over it fell upon the town towards the end of the last century, when a Flemish bark was wrecked in the shallows of the bay. The survivors had spoken of a malevolence that had manifested itself as they left port.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Rubbish. Prince's Wood, on the slopes of Brenton Hill, was 250 years ago a part of the woodland belt that ran from the hillside all the way to the church. But the need for farmland, road access and housing slowly diminished the belt. This area would double for the area of woodland that no longer existed down in the town. With the final location challenge overcome, production on The Forsaken began in November 2009.
And it's here, just like the others.
We have been ignored in favour of false devils. Imposters who create havoc with the natural order.
The final location shoot will be made right here, at almost exact centre of the wood. However, on the night of the 5th of February 2010, the final film shoot would not go as planned.
My son's gone missing. He was supposed to be back an hour ago, but there's no sign of him and I can't reach him on his mobile. He was going up to Prince's Wood on Brenton Hill with the film crew he was working with. I've come up to the woods and I found their van and campsite, but I can't find any of them, and I can't get an answer from any of their phones.
When I come up here last time, I knew where I was going because he had explained to me the pathway so that I could find him if there was any problems. As I came up here, I was looking for them, and obviously it was getting dark, so I couldn't really see very well, but I found their equipment, but they were nowhere to be seen, so I immediately ran back to my car and phoned the police, quite concerned because still they're nowhere to be found.
The police inquiry that followed the initial investigation would, in the absence of any bodies, focus on the bizarre combination of physical evidence in the form of the video recovered from the belongings of the team and the scarce forensic evidence which left many questions. The public were never allowed to see the footage that was recovered from the woods. The team had an inventory of 5 cameras, however the footage recovered was from just 2. The other cameras having never been found. In late 2012, Eclipse Studio put in a Freedom of Information request to release the footage, some of which has been catalogued as an acting performance featuring Tom Lucas and Lindsay Norton.
Eclipse Studio had been holding on to the almost complete film in the hopes that the film elements that were by rights theirs would be returned, but that just wasn't going to happen until they demanded it. Along with all the other footage, the plan was to finish the film and release it as a memorial to the victims of that awful event.
The inventory of raw camera material added up to 1 SD card holding the remains of the film that was being shot, and 2 DV cassettes, which contained a large amount of behind-the-scenes recordings of the cast and crew, both on and off set. This was probably meant for promotional material, and bonus content for the eventual home release of the film. But it would be the cassette that was recovered from the destroyed camera that would prove the most bizarre. The police had made some attempts to restore the images enough to establish what happened. The notes that were included on the footage made it clear that the investigators did not believe that all of the footage on this tape was of the attack, and that it may have been some part of a promotional stunt.
And cut.
Thank God for that. These things really chaff my gums.
Oh, I'll put your wine in short stack, you'll be paid a minute for this. That's it, boss. It's in the can.
Wunderbar. Lady and gentlemen, we have a wrap.
Hey!
Rob, how long to work for it?
Well, editing is a long and expensive process. You need to put most of the money on the short stack midget vampire here.
We're the same height, Dick.
Bollocks. You're no match for me, Sarah. I reckon, about three weeks.
There we have it then. If you two can avoid killing each other, we'll get together again for a preview screening in 3 weeks. I'm going to run this back to the car and come give you a hand to clear off.
Right.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Knock it off! Anyone got a credit or any signal?
Yeah, damn, this place is a black spot. Dude, are you still recording this? Back up, okay?
Come on, what do you think this is? The Blair Witch?
I'm so sorry. I'm so scared. I brought them all out here, I did. And the short stack midget vampire. I'm so frightened. Oh, I hope I got bogies.
Oh, pack it in, you two. We've still got to pack this stuff up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounded like we better go find David.
And why, pray, should we do that?
Because he's got the last scene in the movie. No last scene, no movie. No fame, no fortune, no dirty little teenage girls throwing their moist little knickers at your face.
David!
David!
David Strickland!
How many fucking Daves do you think are in this forest, mate?
Blow it out your arse, Wheeler. Look, as if there's anything in this no way, shithole.
Oh, game over, man. Game over. Oh no, we're in some pretty deep shit now. What are we gonna do?
Snap out of it. It's not a movie, so put the fucking camera down and let's see if we can go help him.
Oh, he's beyond any help, Linz. Look at him. That thing it's killed him. Look at it. Oh, Strickland's dead. Tom's dead. We're dead. Everybody's dead. Dave!
Look, calm down. Look. So I'm not going to die out here in this golden state.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Running! Running! Running!